Well, now we wait. That seems to be where we're at when it comes to the future of the Kansas City Royals. As we look at North Kansas City, we look at the East Village in downtown KCMO, and we wait to see what ownership wants to do. Let's welcome on and say good morning to Clay County Western Commissioner at Large. Jason Withington is joining us here on KCMO Talk Radio. Jason, good morning. It's great to have you on the show. We appreciate the time. How are you feeling right now as a Clay County Commissioner compared to where you were on this issue just a few months ago?
Yeah, hey, good morning, Pete. I feel really good. A few months ago, 6 months ago, if you would have asked me, I would have thought we were just being leveraged to help the Royals get a better deal in Jackson County. But based off of the conversations we've had and things that they've done and actions they've taken, I feel very confident in the next month or two that North Kansas City will be decided as the future home of the Kansas City Royals.
Now, that's a big statement. So you've gone from thinking that Clay County was simply a leverage point to suddenly thinking that North Kansas City is going to be the future of the Royals. I'm sure there's things involved in that conversation and why you feel that way that you can share with us, but what can you share with us on how you've done a complete 180 on this?
Well, I'm a huge baseball fan, lifelong Royals fan, and, we've heard for the last 10 to 20 years that the Royals wanted to move down to the East Village. And over the last several months, the Royals have spent millions of dollars to come up with a site plan, stadium rendering, study traffic studies, utility studies, and everything like that to analyze North Kansas City. If you're just going to go to the East Village, why spend millions of dollars to analyze North Kansas City? Because, like I said, for the last 10 to 20 years, we've always heard that it's the East Village.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. So you think just the fact that they've spent this money to seriously look at North Kansas City is telling in and of itself. So what is it? I mean, for people that have not been to the site of the old bowling alley, they haven't been up there lately, they maybe aren't as familiar with North Kansas City. What makes it appealing to the entire region to have it up there versus, say, the East Village?
Well, safety, number one. We have a lower crime record. Actually, I can't think of any crime that ever, has happened in North Kansas City compared to the East Village. Ingress and egress, we have better access to highways. And, based off of what the Royals showed us, it's like 50% of their season ticket base already lives in the Northland anyway. So we have a lower tax rate. There's no e-tax, and the Royals won't have to deal with Kansas City Hall and in North Kansas City.
Well, those are all compelling reasons as I sit here, from my perch and look at it. But, there is that 52-year relationship that John Sherman has mentioned regarding the Royals and Jackson County. How difficult do you think that would be theoretically to overcome? I don't know. I mean, that's up to the Royals to decide, right? Mm-hmm. We're not in the position to try to steal them from Jackson County, right? They were the ones who came to Clay County and started looking at Clay County. We're not trying to steal the team, so if that's a decision that the team's going to have to make. Mm-hmm. When you look at it, Jason Withington, Clay County Western Commissioner at Large, is joining us on KCMO. When you look at your own constituency, the taxpayer, why should they be open to a potential sales tax to help the Royals put this stadium in North KC?
Well, this will be the largest economic development project in Clay County's history. And, a lot of people are very excited about the possibility. It's going to bring growth. And regardless if the Royals come or not, we're going to see growth in North Kansas City and Clay County. Clay County is one of the third largest growing counties in the state. And we're going to see growth regardless. But, it'd be exciting to have the Royals be a part of that. It'd give us over 1 million visitors to North Kansas City every year just in the baseball games.
Mm-hmm. And you feel like that's going to be an easy enough sell to taxpayers up there in Clay County? I mean, I know you've got a lot of constituents who are, fans of this show and listen to this show, and they may be leery of adding taxes. You think that this will be an easier sell than some may believe?
I don't think so. I think the hardest part is the fact that the Royals are one of the worst teams in baseball right now. I think, coming off a 100-loss season is going to be hard for the fans to be excited about, putting that kind of money into a losing team. But I've got a lot of people that have, said that they were excited and that they would support it.
Okay, well, that's a good start. When you look at, Jason, the Atlanta Braves, I mean, that's an example that's been brought up a lot when comparing the future of the Royals and what they may do to what the Braves ultimately ended up doing. What did the Braves do, for people that don't know, and why do you think the Royals could follow that model?
Well, so honestly, I really believe that if the Royals move to the East Village, that they will be like the Atlanta Braves when they move to Turner Field, and they will regret that decision, and they'll be looking to move elsewhere within 20 years, just like the Braves. But what the Braves did was they built a stadium. It wasn't that good of a stadium, and within 20 years, they built their new stadium, and they built a ballpark village around it, and now they have about 10 million visitors to the ballpark village every season, or for the last season.
Wow, that's a huge number. And so they went from kind of they went from the city essentially to more of a, I don't want to call it suburban because I don't think of North Kansas City as being suburban, but they were no longer in Atlanta proper when they left Turner Field for where they're currently at, which is in Cobb County, Georgia, right? Which is outside the city.
Yeah, it's about 10 miles north of the core, so it's a suburban area. And you're right, North Kansas City's more of an urban city than it is a suburban area. Once you get up to like Gladstone and Liberty, that's more suburban, but North Kansas City, I would say, is more urban.
Yeah. So what do you, you heard John Sherman in that press conference a couple of weeks ago, Jason. What are you anticipating? He says he wants to have a decision by the end of the summer. I mean, is that Labor Day? Is that the official end of summer, September 21? What do you think that means? Well,
every conversation that the county commission has been in with the Royals ownership group, they have said that they would like to have this on the ballot in November. In order to put it on the ballot in November, we have to vote on that by the end of August 29th. And what I shared with the Royals was I would like to have all the information and a public decision announced by the end of July so we can have have a public listening session. It's going to take more than 1 week, obviously, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to chime in. And so I would like to have a public decision by the Royals by the end of July.
Okay. So you're saying that's 3 weeks from today, Jason.
I know. But if they want it on the November ballot in Clay County, we have to vote on that by the end of August. So.
And how often do you guys meet?
We meet weekly.
Okay. So the Clay County commissioners would then get together and say, we'll put this on the ballot in November to vote on a fill-in-the-blank sales tax to help the Royals move to Clay County.
Correct. Okay. And that would have to be decided on by the end of August.
End of August. All right. So you would have a month theoretically. So you want a little bit of room to work with when it comes to timing on something like that.
Yeah, they have an economic report that they want to present to us. I'm sure that's going to take some time to read over, and then I'm sure that people are going to want to come to the commission meetings and talk about it, share their viewpoint and everything, and that's going to take more than 1 week. So,
all right. Well, Jason, what about the Royals? People are going to say, all right, I'll give them some tax money, but they better start signing some big-time free agents. What would you say to that?
Yeah. I would say go look at what Steve Cohen and the New York Mets did. They spent $300 million this offseason, and they haven't won that many games. What I would like to see the Royals, and I've shared this with the Royals, is I would like to see them start putting money into player development and better scouting. I'm almost 40, and in 40 years that I've been following the team, the Royals have missed on more first-round draft picks than they've hit. So they need to start doing better when it comes to player development and scouting. And I think the only reason why one of the biggest reasons why we peaked in the 2010s was because we hit on draft picks for 7 years in a row. So we need to start doing better when it comes to scouting. But signing big-name free agents and stuff like that, I don't think that necessarily means wins. I mean, the New York Yankees do that every year too, and they haven't won a World Series in 15 years. So,
that's a fair point. Jason Withington, Clay County Western Commissioner at Large on KCMO. Jason, thank you for the perspective. Appreciate the time.
All right. Thanks, Pete. Take care.
All right, there you go. They're feeling good up in Clay County.